So I'm joined now by SIAM royalty, if I might, Michelle Major-Goldsmith Kinetic, one of the architects, one of the three lead architects of the SIAM body of knowledge and the original and this re-release. So it's all over now. You know, the fog's been plaited, the sawdust's being knitted. What are your thoughts on what you produced and where you hope SIAM's going to go?
Great question. In terms of what I'm thinking about what we produced, I'm incredibly proud. And I think what is pretty amazing is that we've managed to pull together so many concepts that I don't think most people would appreciate related to SIAM. So I think some of the things that you would expect, so we've written AI publication and so on, but when you start to go into the domain of things like trust, which is quite, you know, it's an interesting concept and you don't necessarily think directly, oh, that's one that we should be focusing on. I think there's so many other areas like that, like our skills compendium, which you sort of think these are things that typically probably wouldn't be front and centre in terms of publication, but I think being able to bring those very critical concepts into SIAM, the things we talk about on the periphery, but to make them part of essentially something that's really seen as fundamental in terms of SIAM success, has been something that it's been useful.
So it's one of those questions, you've just rewritten this. When do we start thinking about where SIAM goes next?
Rewritten's a big bold word, isn't it?
Well, okay, rewritten. Yeah, we have updated, tweaked around the edges. It's not quite. It's a bit more than tweaked around the edges, but yeah. So when do we start thinking about what comes next, or is that part of an ongoing process?
Well, I think that's a critical thing, is that we don't have to think about necessarily the what comes next, because with having that compendium series, the idea is that we can just add to it, or we can remove things as they become less important within, you know, the connected industry and so on. So for me, because we've created this concept of having the core within the SIAM Foundation Professional, and that's about service integration, you know, concepts and theories, that gives us an opportunity to be quite fluid about the stuff that goes around the outside. So it's going to be something that just keeps coming and going as we evolve and, you know, focus on certain concept changes.
So as we're speaking about being evolving, we're going to evolve a 2 into a 3 now, Claire. If this is SIAM royalty, we've now got the Queen of SIAM, and we've now got the Queen of SIAM, Claire Agutter, who's joined us. So, what are your thoughts, Claire, on now that the whole process is over, and we've all taken a sort of deep sigh and sat back? What's next for SIAM? What's next for Scopism? What's next for Claire?
Oh gosh, how long have we got? So what's next for SIAM? I think continuing to evolve as the use cases evolve. So the growth of SIAM has always been driven by what does industry want, what do customers want, what do service providers need, how are service integrators filling their role. So I think SIAM will continue to evolve. And in terms of the body of knowledge with the new structure, with the compendiums, we now have a format that allows us to just iterate alongside that. So I think the architects have agreed, never again.
It's been said many times.
Yeah, we put that in quotes on one of the slides now. But I think more community involvement actually in the content creation as well. So next year we'll set up the Content Council. We already have, I think, about 15 volunteers to be involved with that. So the community then will continue to create content, we'll publish that new content, and then of course that then drives more conversations, more events, and the whole thing in theory becomes self-sustaining with a light hand required from the architects.
It's been a genuine privilege for me to be involved in, and thank you for asking, to be involved in the update. How do you feel that it's worked with, you know, I know Michelle, you're on the other side of the planet in Oz. We've got people over here, we've got people from Europe, we've got people from India. How do you feel? I mean, it's a hell of an undertaking of writing something global like that. I mean, how do we feel that that's worked, and are you still taking the medication?
I think we benefited from that really.
Massively.
Yeah, we had this cadence of activities whereby we were passing work backwards and forwards in cycles based on those timelines, and so that gave us an opportunity to be able to do that with our different contributors. So I think that in itself has been a really a useful thing rather than a negative.
Yeah.
Right.
And I would say absolutely strength from diversity as well. So to have that global perspective, we had some contributors from Japan who were involved, and some of the comments they made, I don't think any of us would have considered that, would we? And that made us think, oh, okay, so there are, places that are looking at things a little bit differently, or using the practices a little bit differently, or even applying different standards. I think for me, the more diverse the group that contributes is, the stronger the end product that comes out.
Yeah, I think the different levels of maturity. We've spoken to people today, and they'll come out in the bite sizes that we've done from Austria, from Sweden, and so on. It's made a real big difference. So what you can't see off camera here is that there's a group of people stood around watching, making silly faces and so on and so forth. But thank you very much, ladies, and and thank you for putting together the whole of the body of knowledge, and I commend it to the house.
Thank you very much, Barry.